Kat and welcome to my kitchen. This afternoon I'm going to be making applesauce cake. I always try to incorporate some kind of seasonal fruit or vegetable into whatever I'm making in my kitchen. Since it's fall, it's apple season here in Michigan and apples are one of my favorite fruits. So I decided to try and put together a cake using apples, and I use applesauce a lot in vegan baking. It's a great way to moisten a baked good without making it too fattening. And also, of course, keeping it vegan. So shopping around, and it was kind of expensive to buy natural applesauce from somebody. So my dear friend and also my company's kitchen manager, Jill Palmentier, suggested I try and make my own applesauce. She's like, it can't be that hard. So I looked up some instructions, and you know what? Jill was right. It wasn't very hard at all. We bought a half bushel of apples. One morning I was on the phone and I peeled them while I was having a conversation with a dear friend. Didn't take too long. And I threw them in a stock pot. I covered them in about 2 inches of local apple cider. And I just boiled them partially covered for probably like 10 or 15 minutes. And it was great. It was nice and a good consistency, like perfect chunky applesauce consistency. I did go through it with a whisk just once and it was ready to go. I think peeling the apples really helped, and also I did core them and cut them into, you know, about 1 or 2 inch slices. It was very simple and it made some really delicious applesauce. It actually ended up making, let's see here, about 6 cups of applesauce. So anyway, using those local ingredients, we're going to mix up a nice, healthy, delicious applesauce cake. We're going to start by taking a 1/4 cup of milled flaxseed. I just ground this in my blender. I bought whole dark brown flax seeds. And we're going to mix that with 3/4 cup of water. And I'm just going to take a small whisk here and whisk that. It's pretty simple. Alright, good. So now that that's done, I'm going to add some vanilla. And that is a 1/4 teaspoon vanilla, I believe. Over here I've got my applesauce. This is about 16 ounces of applesauce, and I'm going to add about 4 ounces of local apple cider. I'm going to mix these two together first. And then just pour that into my flaxseed water vanilla mixture. Pretty easy here. And then I'm going to take 1 cup of grapeseed oil. You can also use coconut oil. Actually, the first couple times I made this, I did use coconut oil as well. If you use coconut oil, you're going to measure it in a 1 cup measure for dry ingredients. Top it off and then put it in something microwave safe, or just, you know, leave it out at room temperature if it's warm enough until it's liquid. Might as well just heat it, you know, in the microwave for a second until it's liquid, and then you want to add it. And of course, you can use a stand-up mixer. I don't know, this recipe isn't that difficult, so I really just didn't feel like getting the stand-up mixer, you know, out and ready to go. I mean, it was out. I leave it out because I would bake a lot, but I just didn't think for this type of a recipe it was really necessary. I figured I could just mix it myself. There are 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons baking powder, and 1 teaspoon baking soda for the dry ingredients. 1.5 cups raw sugar, raw cane juice. And you can just combine these either with a fork or a whisk. You can also, of course, always sift the ingredients. I'm just lazy. I don't really care for sifting, so I always try and find an easier way to put it together. And I think a whisk, a large whisk, works really, really well for combining dry ingredients. Just with living a busy modern life, as I'm sure most of you out there do, I'm always trying to find the simplest way for myself and to pass along to you guys the simplest way to make healthy and delicious food. So this is one I had to put the oats in because just simply to get the baking soda, baking powder, and cinnamon just really combine well with the flour. Alright, so we've got the liquid ingredients and we've got the dry ingredients, and now we're going to combine them. scraping the bowl to get all the excess. So this is a really healthy, we've got in here whole wheat flour. We have applesauce, which is really high. Apples are very high in fiber. We have flax seeds. You've got your omega-3s. What else do we have here? Rolled oats. So, I mean, it's really, this is a very healthy way to satisfy your sweet tooth, I believe. So, you know, some grapeseed oil, which is not bad for you. As far as oils go, it's definitely one of the better ones. So, this is a pretty easy recipe. And then you just, you know, stir until it's combined. And it's a pretty moist batter. So there you go. And we're ready to put it in our pans. So I'm going to get my pans out and preheat my oven. Preheated my oven to 350 and now I'm going to fill my baking pans. One of the best things about this recipe is that you can use kind of a variety of pans. You can use whatever pan you feel like, okay? So one time I made this, last time I made this, I used a bundt pan. I was going to a dinner party and I was taking this recipe with me as the dessert for the party, and it turned out beautifully. I baked the cake at 350 for 35 minutes until a toothpick came out clean, or a cake tester. And the first time I made it in a 9x13 pan. I didn't grease that pan. I sprayed that with vegetable oil spray. I have this awesome pump that you pump, and then it's just vegetable oil. So, and it's, you know, natural. If you watched my videos before, you know that I'm an advocate of making sure that what you're about to bake or cook or serve to people in any capacity tastes good. So I'm gonna make sure that our applesauce cake batter is good before I put it in the oven. Definitely. Apples taste really, really sweet, even though I did buy an apple that was for baking, and I'm trying to think here, now that I said that, what type of apples I bought. I will remember it, but anyway, they were sort of tart, because they were for baking, but with making the applesauce and the cider, and then also adding a little bit of apple cider, and that was in lieu of any type of a milk. I decided when I was coming up with this recipe that I wanted to make sure it, you know, did have that nice fall flavor. So, including apple cider was important. So we're just gonna fill our pans as usual to about 3/4 full. And there's my oven. And I'm going to start cleaning up my kitchen. I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes and I will check on them then. Okay, so it's been about 35 minutes and my small loaves are done, so I'm going to take them out. And the large loaves, they need probably another 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to set a timer for 5 minutes. When I did make the bundt cake, it did take about 40 to 45 minutes. The 9x13 pan was good at about 35. So that's just some variations depending on what loaf. It turned out really well. And I'm just going to let it cool for a few minutes and then we'll take them out of the pan, flipping them upside down. And once they've cooled a little bit and the other breads are done, of course I'm going to sample because you gotta try the finished product, right? That's part of the fun of baking. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, so the applesauce cakes have all cooled down and I took them out of the pan. So there was a fallen soldier and I have to confess that I kind of got into it. And I ate quite a bit of it. I ate about half of one of these loaves already. So it's pretty good, if I do say so myself. The presentation on the loaf pan version, mini loaf pan version, is not fantastic, and I really probably won't make it this way again. I'm going to stick to, I think the bundt cake pan, or maybe even a springform would probably work nicely for this. But hey, live and learn, you know, it was worth experimenting and it's not terrible. So I'm going to top this with just a dusting of powdered sugar. And I was kind of wishing the camera was rolling when I opened this bag of powdered sugar because it like exploded everywhere and it went all over me. And it probably would have been pretty funny to see on camera. And I definitely am not the neatest cook or baker, and I think it's kind of nice to know that not everybody is perfect, and things do get kind of messy in the kitchen, but oops! Case in point, I guess I should put this down. Anyway, talking with my hands and dealing with powdered sugar at the same time, probably not the best. And with the bundt pan, just flip it on a plate, dust it with powdered sugar, same thing, serve it, it looks beautiful. Well, that's it for the applesauce cake. I hope you make this at home. As you can see, it's a really simple recipe that takes advantage of the bounty of the season, which is always a plus. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks to veganconsultant.com for allowing me to present you guys with this recipe. Please visit catshotcakes.com for even more vegan baking tips, as well as cooking tips, recipes, and instructional videos. Thanks a lot. Happy fall.